No, we're doing that again. You have to do it the same every time because your crazy opening is what makes it so great. All right. No pressure. 3, 2, 1. Hi, Kate.
Hey, Beck. What's up?
No, it's what's up, Beck. Don't kill me.
Okay, we can do that. Is that what you want me to say every time? I will not remember, but I'll try. I'll do it this time.
Well, you did it 5 times in a row, so now it's the way we open our podcast.
What's up, Becca? What's up, Beck? What's up, Becca? Is it?
Yes, that's the key to a good podcast, is have the same opening and the same closing every time. So you're stuck now, whether you like it or not. So you got to bring that Kate vibe.
I have no other vibe to bring.
Okay. Oh my gosh. That's going on our first t-shirt.
That is the vibe.
All right. Pull together. Get your acting face on. Hi, Kate.
What's up, Beck?
There you go. So, Kate.
Wild. Yes.
Good to see you. I'm really enjoying pretending that we haven't just been chatting for an hour. This is
what? We haven't seen each other in a whole week. This is
the most fun part of podcasting, is pretending like we just started talking.
And this is the only time we ever communicate as well.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So I am super excited that I have this fancy microphone that people on YouTube can see, and it's for the benefit of people on Spotify, because now that
fancy.
Yeah, the first month or so we were focused on our visuals, our backgrounds, our makeup, but now that we're on Spotify, I figured we should focus a little bit on our audio. So I'm speaking into a microphone. People on Spotify, do I sound better? Thank you for staying with us.
You gotta speak into it real soft and low, you know.
Oh, are we making an ASMR video?
That's right.
Oh no, I didn't silence my phone.
I tried to get the microphone hooked up, but I was distracted. So.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, we'll try again.
I'll figure it out. I'll have it figured out next week.
Besides, I think that your recording quality by itself is already better than mine. I think I was the one that really needed a microphone, but
well, yeah, quality central right here.
So, but getting to the point of this podcast, Kate, did you have your shit together this week?
Do I have my shit together this week? Oh my God, yes. And yes, sort of. Yes and no, as is the usual. How about you?
Wait, no. That's
you have your
yes or
together?
No question. You have to tell me why it's yes and no.
Okay, all right. That's how we want to do it. Okay. Yes, it's together in that I think I was a little more attentive of the medical situations going on with my family, which is good. And I'm pleased that I am. I would like to be more attentive and more active, and I will continue to build on that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I was more on top of things with Sammy's school, which has been necessary.
Oh, so that is hard.
That's so hard, man.
Do you know how much space I have on my plate now that I don't have to worry about stuff with my kids' schools?
God bless you. All the gods, every single one. Sam, you know, he's Sheldon Cooper, little old man alien child. He has no interest in doing the busy work or the schoolwork. And if he doesn't feel like it, you can't make him. I don't know where he got that from. And he's just, you know, so he just won't do it. Like, he has more willpower than even I did in grade school. And I just, you know, so now he's got all this makeup work that they said he needed to hand in by the 23rd. And then midway through this week, they're like, no, we want him to hand it in on Friday. I'm like, what? Well, we originally had 2 weekends to get all this stuff done, and now we don't. So whatever we get done is what we get done. Please don't fail him. He's a genius. Anyway.
Good for you.
So that's how we're playing that. I've had so many things happen as far as I've been trying to transition what I do for a living from 20 years of massage therapy into more tarot reading, spiritual advising, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. You know, and and every single time I have, tapped into it and tried to plan out, like, what do I need to do? What do I need to do to make this happen? The message has always been, chill out. We will bring it to you. I'm like, I'm a Taurus. I don't do well with chill out and bring it to me. I do better with bulldoze and we'll get this done. Don't sleep, just work yourself to death. And that's how it'll get done. I'm like, good, I know how to do that.
I can force this square peg into this round hole, damn it.
Or force it, damn it. Like, I will carve a new hole, like, not a metaphor, but so, like, that's always been the message. And so I finally have gotten much better at, like, well, let's see where this is going. I'm going to chill. Observe me chilling. So chill, like, I've gotten better at it. And this week, all of a sudden, I had, like, just out of nowhere, I had 3 people not at the Renaissance Festival sign up for tarot readings, and they want tarot readings, and then they want to be like a regular client,
Wow.
like I'm their spiritual advisor. They're like, oh, pull cards for me. And I'm like,
no way.
I will. Yeah. And like one of them wants me to do spell work, and I'm like, cool. And I am being paid to be an actual witch, which I just,
oh my gosh,
trying to wrap my head around this. Like, it's real. This is a real thing. And
you are living the dream.
I'm living the dream, or I'm starting to live the dream. It's good. I'm loving it. Now, am I prepared for work at the Renaissance Festival tomorrow? No, not really. I wanted to make a whole entire dress to wear tomorrow because it's going to be hotter than the balls of Hades himself. And I don't want to wear the full, like, everything because I may perspire of heat, but I do have like 500 other costumes to wear because I'm always making something new. So I have plenty of things to wear, just not what I wanted to wear. That's how I don't have my shit together. Otherwise, though, I feel like I'm doing all right. And I've gotten more sleep than I usually do, mostly because my body is taken to just shutting down when it's tired.
Good for your body.
Like, Isaac wanted, my son wanted me to stay up after my younger son was in bed so that we could watch this thing on YouTube together. It's really, really funny, but it's also very involved and random. And if you don't pay attention, you have no idea what's going on. And I was like, yeah, this is great. I'm going to watch it with you. I've got enough energy. And we sat down and we're watching it. No kidding. 7 minutes in, I hear this, Mom, wake up. I'm like, yeah. I didn't even know I'd closed my eyes because I was still listening to it. And this happened for the next hour. He was, Mom, wake up. I'm like, what? Yeah, paying attention. Like, nothing checked in with me. It was just like, and shut down. Like, just shutting down. We are tired now. Good night. And I'm like, I'm not ready for bed.
You are a good mom. You are a very good mom.
Quality time is his love language.
Yes.
And he doesn't cuddle, he's not a cuddler. So quality time it is.
And it goes so freaking fast.
Yeah. He's 18. So like, he's going to be out of the house in a short time. And so, if he wants to hang out and look at memes or watch YouTube videos, then like, and it's not like it's a hardship. They're fun videos.
He's not asking you to watch like Roblox videos or something like the 6-year-old next door asks me.
Yeah. Then we have my 10-year-old.
Oh God.
This one time, okay, I actually found this interesting. He loves Minecraft, and I don't get it, but I'm happy. Same. Like, I think it's a great world that people use. It's a great tool. I'm not into it. But that's kind of just like me with video games, generally speaking. Like, there are certain video games I like to watch my sons play because it's a cool world, like Breath of the Wild or Assassin's Creed. But like, if I try to play it, I'm like kissing the wall the whole time. Like, I'm like, I don't know how to squat, wait. I'm like, I'm so Gen X. I just cannot even. But like,
thank you.
Minecraft.
Thank you. The last game I could figure out was Super Mario Brothers. Once my little brother started playing Sonic, oh my God, I tried to play that game. What a disaster. And they like couldn't get how I couldn't play it. I remember John being like, Becca, you just do this. And I'd be like, oh, I'm doing that. Like, I was like, that's it. No more video games for me. I wasn't an old person. It's not like I came to Sonic at the age of 46. I was playing it at like the age of, I don't know, 18, 19. Yeah.
River Raid. Do you remember River Raid on Atari?
No.
We had an Atari first. And one of the games on it was River Raid. And I'm pretty sure that I was like 13 and I would kick all the asses with River Raid. It's so pixelated and I did a great job. It's the minute they got a Nintendo and they were playing Super Mario Brothers, I was like, this is boring. I'm not playing because I didn't know how. That's why.
Okay, but we grew up with Oregon Trail and Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? So yeah, I'm sorry. Mario Brothers is fun and all, but like, we were facing life and death. We were tracking down like spies. Okay. There was a little more narrative to our video games.
We need a story. And that's why I like Breath of the Wild and stuff like that. I just can't play. But Sammy made an interesting thing on Minecraft. Quick back up here. Sam, at 3.5, I picked him up from pre-K and he was like, oh, Mom, I learned about the planets in the solar system today. And I was like, great, tell me about them. And he named them all. And I was duly impressed. And I was like, well, which one's your favorite? You know, he's like, Jupiter. It has 4 moons. Io, Europa, Callisto, and Ganymede. And I was like,
whoa.
Yes, you are correct, my son.
For people on Spotify, Kate just pantomimed Googling the planet.
Yes, that was me on the phone. Tap. Yes, Wikipediaing, you know. And that was just the beginning. Like, he got obsessed with space for a long time. And I have so much space information in my head and I don't know why, and I can't get it to leave, but it's in there. And so I thought, and like years later, like, and this is involved, I'll tell you how involved some other time, but like he's got like this, no, another time, Kate, another time. Okay. So anyways, when he's approaching his 6th birthday, I was like, I'm going to distract him from space from a minute. This will be funny. I'm going to get a periodic table of elements placemat.
Oh God.
Attaches to this science because he showed interest in other sciences.
I remember this.
You remember this, right?
I do. I think we talked about this on the phone.
Yeah. And he got completely obsessed with the periodic table of elements. And that's how I found out he has a photographic memory. And like, there was this, oh my gosh, there was this one Christmas where his dad was like, oh, I think I want to order some of these chemicals to try. Because like, we always celebrate Christmas together, like dad and stepmom and me and like the in-laws, and like, because they're just great. So we get together for Christmas. And they're like, we thought it would be fun if we get some of these chemicals that Sammy is really interested in. So we're definitely on an FBI watch list at this point. Plutonium's expensive, but anyway.
You did not buy plutonium.
I looked it up. So like,
do you even have a flux capacitor?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I would. I'm obsessed with time travel.
2,100 gigawatts. So 1.3, I don't even remember how many, but like we got gallium, we got magnesium, and we got pure sodium. Did you know pure sodium's explosive?
Yes, I did know that from
a little bit
another
of water.
Podcast I listened to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we enjoyed a very loud, interesting Christmas Eve. I'm sure the neighbors enjoyed that too.
It's a whole new Christmas tradition. Blow up the house.
Blowing shit up, and it was really funny. And like the following summer, I was bringing the kids down to their dad's house to drop them off. And he's got this whole setup in the front yard with like a plastic cooler halfway filled with water. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, you know, when I ordered the sodium, it like came in like this big, like a block, right?
Uh-huh.
And we only needed like a teaspoon of it to like blow up at Christmas. And that stuff, like if humidity gets to it, it'll blow up. And it was inside a plastic bag inside a jar, but like we live in Georgia.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so invasive humidity, right? So he was gonna like bit by bit blow up that block of pure sodium in the cul-de-sac.
Wow.
Just to get rid of it, right? Because you don't want to like put it in the garbage can. That's a bad idea. So yeah.
Could you imagine being that trash collector?
You would perish. You would just perish and die. And like he had some like lawn chairs for the boys in the front, like in the front yard to like watch him do this. And like after he did like twice, the boys were like, yeah, we're done. Peace out. Especially since like fumes from it were blowing towards us. And I was like, dude, is your wife home to supervise you and the loss of your fingers? Or are you the only adult home right now? He was like, yeah, she's busy.
I
like,
too
okay.
get along very well with my ex-husband and his stepwife, and I too am very glad that there's another woman in the world who gets to supervise Mike now. I love you, Mike. All the love.
It is needed. It is needed.
I was a horrible wife. I wasn't good at it. She's much better at it.
Same. My co-parent, my ex-husband's wife is just so much better at tending to him and his needs than I ever was, and I applaud.
Shout out to Renee, the husband wrangler. Yes.
Shout out to stepmoms everywhere. Thank you.
Yeah, I call Renee. Renee is my stepwife.
You are your stepwife.
And when we go places together, the three of us with the kids, and people are trying to figure out what our relationship is because we all get along so well. I love to just be like, oh, this is Mike, and he's married to Renee, and I'm Rebecca. I used to be married to Mike, so Renee is my stepwife. And they get so freaked out.
I love it. I do call their dogs my step puppies.
Aw.
Yeah, and I get to watch the little one when they go out of town, but I don't have space for the greyhound.
Renee let me hold one of her grandbabies once, brand new grandbaby who was so fussy, and I got the grandbaby to fall asleep. And I just thank you so much, Renee, because I'm never gonna have grandbabies of my own. It was so kind of you to share with me.
Oh, did it feel like magic?
I love babies. You know,
I love babies too. I don't want any more, which is fortunate because I won't be able to have any more anyway. But like, I'd love other people's babies.
Yes.
And both of my boys told me a couple years ago that they weren't going to reproduce. But I brought that up the other day on Mother's Day, and Isaac was like, I never said that. I might have kids. I'm like, oh, okay, Mr. 18-year-old. That's, I don't know.
I had one small glimmer of hope the other weekend. It was a very rainy, stormy night, and Sam and Julia had gone to the mall. I think it was the Friday night before Mother's Day because they went shopping for Mother's Day presents, I believe. And oh, by the way, I talked on the podcast about how Sam gives wonderful presents to everyone but me. Present update. He bought me Winnie the Pooh Bear pajama pants that fit perfectly for Mother's Day, and he gave them to me on Saturday night so I could wake up in them on Mother's Day morning.
Oh, that is so beautiful,
right?
That's lovely.
So another thing they did while they were at the mall is they each got a Lego set, and they came home and they sat down on the floor like adorable little children on a play date and made their own Lego sets, like parallel play. It was so adorable. I love them so much. They are we could have a whole podcast talking about what a great couple they are and how much I adore them and adore her. And I just don't understand how I got so lucky that he would have Julia as a girlfriend. I love you, Julia. And so anyway, she said something like, I tuned into the conversation because she goes, I probably shouldn't say this in front of your mom. And Sam's like, yeah, you don't want to get her hopes up. And I'm like, wait, what? Say it.
Too late.
Spill those beans. They went to a store that sold, I don't know, merch, for lack of a better term, at pop culture merch, I guess. And the store had baby items that were like Super Mario onesie and like Breath of the Wild bottle, or I don't know, I wasn't there, but they were actually looking at them thinking, well, maybe one day if we knew we could get a baby cute stuff like this. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, 10 years from now when you're in your 30s and you want to have a baby, I will register you at that store and give you a baby shower and have everyone get you all of the things for free.
That's what baby showers are all about. Getting free shit.
And I really don't think like cute baby onesies are the right reason to bring a child into this world, but as a, you know, aspiring grandmother, I will take what I can get.
They're not the worst reason to bring a baby into the world. There are worse reasons.
True, like saving a relationship.
Yeah.
Not
the best reason.
Or just didn't use birth control at all.
Not the best reason.
Yeah.
Is that a reason?
I mean,
That's
no,
an
I mean,
explanation.
it's a reason by default. It's how my
It's an
oldest was
explanation.
born.
I don't know if that's a reason.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, just this one time. Oh, just this one time for 3 months straight. And then, whoops, I'm pregnant.
Whoopsies.
So, but we're running out of time and we have a really great guest this week. So I'm going to tell you about my shit this week. If you
please do.
Okay.
Did you have your shit together this week, Becca?
Grass update. Grass Watch 2022. I got all of my grass blades cut at once. And I started cutting them again yesterday to make them even shorter because, you know, it had grown so wild. I had to cut it on a really high setting, and that always bugs me. It feels like you're wasting your time cutting it to the point where it just looks like it needs to be cut normally. Mm-hmm. So hopefully this weekend I'll get it cut to the height that I like. So Grass Watch 2022. I had my shit together with my yard this week. I even got some lilies of the valley planted. I love my yard so much. Working in my yard, that's my magic. If I could get paid to keep my hands in the dirt and cut grass and trim bushes, that would be the dream. But it would have to come with paying the benefits that the federal government gives me, and it never will.
Right. We need benefits for that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of money I get paid to write magazine articles and run events, it's obnoxious. That's what I should have gotten paid when I was raising people's 2-year-olds. But okay, world, I see your priorities. I'm looking at you.
We need entertainment, not properly raised children.
So I suppose I had my shit together this week. I did get the kitchen clean, get some healthy meals made. Like that was sort of my focus this week because I felt disgusting last Friday. I woke up last Friday. I just felt like I felt so gross after like 3 weeks of just not tending to my physical needs. So this week that was the focus. And, you know, cutting the grass goes along with that because it's exercise. And I worked my butt off this week for the federal government and it felt so good. So I had my shit together with those two things. I don't know that I had my shit together with the boy. I just sort of have been ignoring him and I don't know that he cares and I don't know that I care that he doesn't care. So either it's a very chill relationship and that's good, or maybe things are petering off. Either way, that's fine. It makes more room on my plate for things that I actually need. I don't know if I told you this or not. I think I did. I think I told you this last week, that I'm pretty sure I'm an aromantic, demisexual person.
You did not tell me, and there would have been rejoicing because
okay, well, I'm pretty sure that I am aromantic demisexual, which means I'm never going to get laid again because those two contradict each other. I think
that's pansexual demisexual. How's that?
Yeah, that's kind of like much more opportunities for you.
Well, sort of, but I'm demisexual, so it's kind of like the whole world is my sexy buffet. But I'm full right now. I'd rather read the menu.
Exactly.
Right? Like if one of these food items would like to write me letters like I'm a Victorian lady and take me to Shakespeare plays, then I'm totally down for it. And there might be like, and it's like, for me, I'm at the two different ends of the spectrum. I'm like, no, just write to me like a Victorian lady until the emotional thing has happened. And then I'm like, other end of the spectrum, yo. I hope you have protein bars and a lot of water.
See, and I'm just over here like
I've saved it all up or something.
I'm just over here like, I need a deep connection with someone before I'll get in bed with them, but I don't really like making connections with people.
I'm the problem.
I'm like David Rose from Schitt's Creek. I'm trying very hard not to connect with people right now. Okay, so I am scrolling through the notes I made this week of things I wanted to bring up today, and I'll try and go through them real quick because we have 3 minutes left before we're going to start talking to our guest. Number one, you said your neighbor was a Vietnam vet. Now, I am a professional stalker, and I found him on Facebook. He looks too young to be a Vietnam vet. Are you sure he's a Vietnam vet?
You stalked me? How did you even do that?
Okay, I didn't stalk you. I think you put a Facebook post thanking him for his help and he commented, "You're welcome." And I clicked on his profile and he looks like he's my brother's age.
No, that would be Paul. He's my landscaping guy.
Oh, okay, never mind.
The
I
Wizard
withdraw
of
the
the
question.
Green.
Overruled.
He's the one that destroyed, like, did magic, not metaphorically, in my whole entire yard right after the podcast last week.
Okay. I withdraw the question. All right. Number 2. Why was I even trying to pronounce foreign languages last week? Can we make that like illegal for me to do on this podcast?
What did you do? What was wrong?
I was trying to like pronounce words I had written down that were Latin and French, and I have no business pronouncing any word that I've never heard out loud before because Hooked on Phonics did not work for me. I have dysgraphia. I don't know what sounds letters make in English when they're put together in a word. And even when I do, my eyes jumble them up so bad I don't know what order they're in. So why am I trying to pronounce them in other languages? So I apologize to anyone that I might have offended with my insane attempt at pronouncing other languages. I will endeavor to never do that again. Okay.
I wasn't offended, and I'm usually offended by people mispronouncing things, so maybe I just wasn't paying adequate attention.
All right. So then the third thing is this concept that Emmett and I came across this week that we both wholeheartedly understand. And I want to know if you understand it too. And I want to know if there's a word for it, for this feeling. And my brother bought me this book called The Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows, I think is what it's called.
The Dictionary of what?
Look Obscure Sorrows. Spoiler alert, he's our guest today, so maybe he can correct me if that's not what it's called. I've been reading it. I think I read the first, I don't know if they're chapters, but I read the first 2 sections of it. But I'm going to look through that book to see if there's a name for this feeling. And that feeling is getting somewhere and almost immediately thinking, how soon can I leave without it seeming rude? Right?
Yeah, that's a relatable feeling.
Yeah. And I, as Emmett and I were talking this over, I realized there's only one place in the whole world where I don't get that feeling. And that would be Manny's house. When I go to Manny's house, I feel just as comfortable as when I'm at home. And I think that's why I can drive down to his house, which is 88 miles from my house, with an overnight bag and just stay the weekend. And it's hard to leave. And do you have a place like that other than your home?
There are places that I feel very comfortable and don't want to leave immediately. But I think my home is just the most comfortable place for me, and it's where my responsibilities are. So, but my best friend, one of my best friends down here, Juliana, the Rollins' house, I feel really, really comfortable there. That was, yeah, even though they throw parties all the time, and normally I'm like, ew, parties, people, bleh. Yeah. But like they're all the people that I know, and I successfully got myself actually drunk for my first time a couple of months ago, and at one of their parties because I felt comfortable doing it, and so I feel like that's a big step for me.
That, yeah, huge step.
That's a huge step here in my late 40s. So
one huge step for Kate, one teeny tiny, not even a leap for Rebecca in 1994.
Listen, we all evolve at our own paces, okay?
I keep forgetting to rename myself when I jump on Zoom. I'm going to do that now. And since we are 31 minutes into our podcast where we talk to other people and not just each other, I think it's time.
We don't just shoot the shit for a whole hour,
I think it's time for me to introduce our guest this week. We had
drum roll, please.
We had intended on interviewing my friend Tiffany from work. And I was excited to have Tiffany on today because she and I just went through the gauntlet together, getting out our first issue of the newsletter at work. And I couldn't wait to hear her experience of it because I was a big whiny baby about some stuff, and she let me vent to her at great length all week long so that I wouldn't say disrespectful, rude things to leadership. So thank you, Tiffany.
A true friend.
Yes. But Tiffany last night texted me and told me she has a horrible ear infection and could she reschedule. So feel better, Tiffany. We hope you're feeling better and we hope you're resting. So today instead, the man behind the magic, the brother that I have alluded to from time to time, who is making all the good things about this podcast happen, the gentleman who has lived 3 lifetimes in 3 decades. Okay, he's been alive for a little more than 3 decades, but that sounds good. My brother Frank has agreed to step in at the last minute and be our guest for today. So I'd like to introduce Frank. Frank, can you join us?
Huzzah, Frank!
What's up?
Hey. All right. And as you know, this is my this is my brother Frank. He is, as Maria put it, 3 of 4. I am 1 of 4. He is 3 of 4. And we have asked you here today, Frank, to talk to you about, do you have your shit together? What does it mean to have your shit together to you? What did our parents, mom and dad, make you think it meant when they were raising us to have your shit together? What does it mean to you now? Has it changed? And do you have your shit together by either definition? Welcome, Frank.
Thank you very much.
And
yes.
Sorry, I forgot to start you off. Your warm-up question: did you have your shit together this week?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
As Kate.
That was short and sweet.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. You have to change the title.
Okay.
Do you have your shit together and why?
Yes, you're right.
Right.
You're right.
Yes. I think
Or
I
and
did.
how.
Or and how, yes. How and why. So I don't think the air conditioning is working, which has to do with the pipes that I fixed last week. I had leaks and I had to fix the pipes, and to get to the pipes I had to pull out insulation, and then I fixed, but I did not put the insulation back. I just realized this morning when I woke up and the house was warm, despite the AC running all night. I think I'm losing air underneath the house.
Oh.
Insulation. So that's a fun job for today. Go down to the crawl space, but other than that, I think so. I got all that stuff done.
Yeah. So you had been away from your home for quite a while, and you came home to burst pipes and flooding.
Correct.
So you've been getting your shit together ever since you got home. Your literal shit.
Yes. First I was away at the VA getting this shit together, and then I came home to the house, and yeah, pipes froze over the winter and cracked, and AC wasn't working, and everything's dusty, and I forgot to clean the food out of the fridge before I left, so there were some fun science experiments waiting for me when I came back.
Oh man.
Had to throw the entire coffee maker out.
Oh no.
I forgot to empty the basket. I wasn't planning on leaving for as long as I was going for. So, and a dirty microwave, like just a typically dirty microwave, if you don't zap all that stuff inside of it frequently and leave it for a year, that all starts to grow stuff. So the microwave.
Oh my gosh.
Too. Yeah. I guess when you don't have to keep it perfectly clean on a daily basis because your radiation is going and killing anything that could be coming alive, but if you leave it alone, then, yeah.
Wow, I never thought of that.
A bunch of things went in the trash. I got a new coffee maker, new microwave, reorganized the house, inventoried, tried to, it almost feels like being in a new house, honestly. Like I've inventoried everything. My bedroom is completely empty. All my possessions are in the living room right now in categorized boxes. And then the kids' room has all the kids' stuff in it, which used to be in the living room. And so I almost could, if I had to leave today, I pretty much could. Everything's in like totes and boxes. But that provides me the opportunity to, I've gotten rid of half the stuff in the process, and then I can redistribute things as fits better. So the energy of the house is totally different now. And
purging is so great.
Yeah,
it is, and I'm so bad at it. And I just did it in my living room when I redid the living room, and I think that's why my living room is so relaxing, because I only have the things I love in there.
Exactly. Yeah, your living room's great right now, and the purging process is like an ongoing one. I think so. You know what I mean? But when you can do a big bulk one, that's always the best feeling. I feel like, you know what I mean? When you get it in room cleared. So,
I've only ever done it as big bulk ones because that's just not, there's no room on my plate for that on a regular basis.
right. And I think
Although I am trying, I put a box in my bedroom, and anytime I take something out and I hate it, or I find something that I noticed, like I noticed there was a pair of shoes on the little shoe thing in my closet that I was like, I haven't worn these in a year. I just put them right in the box. I didn't even think about it. I just put them in the box. They're still in the room. So I don't have to make the decision to get rid of them. I just put them in the box. Something doesn't fit, goes in the box. Something has a stain, goes in the box. I have no idea what I'll do with the box, but eventually someday I'll carry it out of my room, right? Is that how normal people do it, Frank?
Baby step.
Baby steps. Yeah. I think it's good to have an area where you can just throw stuff like that, because the hardest part is the maybes. I always have 3 piles. Obviously, yes, I want to keep it. Obviously, no, I don't want to keep it. Those take no thought, no executive functioning. But the maybes, if I have to stop during every maybe and figure that out, then you never get through it. So I have a maybe pile, and then good, definite keep things, go here, get rid of the other things, and then you go back to that maybe pile and you do it again. Yes, definitely no. So, but it's also like we have the camper outside, and when I would do it with Walter, anytime he was unsure about something, I'd say put it in the camper. If in a few months you haven't thought of it even once, then we can chuck it. We know that it's not important, you know what I mean? But if it's something that you go like, wait a second, where's the basketball, a couple times, then we know that's a thing that we should bring back into the house and hang on to. So, you know what I mean? Like if you stick it somewhere and you'll never think about it, then it's not really needed. And I think it's probably really good for somebody like you to do like regular purges. Should probably be like, they should have a service like ADHD purging service where they come to your house and get rid of a bunch of stuff, because you talk about how if things aren't out, you forget about them, right? So you get a lot of things out. So therefore, if you have a lot of things, that's going to be like kind of counterproductive.
Yes,
so,
yes, absolutely. And that's why I used to do that Fly Lady system that was early 2000s. There's a website called Fly Lady. I think it still exists, but it's almost unusable now because it's like early 2000s website with early 2000s website technology. So it's almost unreadable. But she had this whole system. She'd say the mess didn't happen overnight. You're not going to clean it up overnight. You're going to do it 15 minutes at a time. And she had all these tricks and techniques, and you could just pick one and work on that for a week or two until it became a habit. And it was like, set an alarm for a certain time every day, and when the alarm goes off, you grab your 2 trash bags and you run to the most cluttered room and you grab 15 things that you want to give away and 15 things that you want to throw away, and you're done. Stop. Don't do anything else till tomorrow. She'd start you out real easy like that and build up your habits. Every night you go to bed, shine your sink. That means your dishes are done before you go to bed, stuff like that. And I still use some of those habits today. So yeah, she had a good service.
What's that called? Fly Lady?
Yeah, and the FLY stands for finally loving yourself.
Aw.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was like a little cartoon of a chubby little lady with like a purple tutu and fairy wings, and she had like
That's so cute.
I think she had like a toilet brush instead of a fairy wand as her fairy wand. It was it's harder once it's like it's easier in some aspects now that I have a full-time job, and harder. I am better when I'm more scheduled to the hilt, because I can't say I'll do it later. It's like I have time, I have to do it right now.
That's how I get stuff done. I have to have like a deadline.
Right. Yeah.
And it'll happen all within like the 24 hours before that.
Yes. Yeah.
Or it just won't get done. It just won't.
Yeah, I'm not good at self-pacing. I would imagine you're better at that, Frank, because I would imagine for you, it's like your skin will crawl until you get it done.
Yeah, I do still procrastinate pretty bad though. Which is odd. Yeah, because it does bother me. Seneca said we spend more time putting off a thing than it takes to do a thing. You know what I mean? Like I spend 2 weeks putting it off, and it only takes like 20 minutes to get it done. But that method of the Fly Lady seems good, because it's like how they say to do anything, whether it's like writing or exercising, like just chunk the activity, do small, like SMART goals, right?
Yes.
Versus like who's that lady that's real popular now? She does the whole like
Marie Kondo.
Does it
spark joy?
Yeah, does it spark joy? That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And then all I have left in my house is like my TV and a bag of potato chips.
Exactly. Right. Like Family Guy episode, they had that. The whole house was empty. Eventually, I think they were getting rid of the kids even.
Well,
Doesn't bring me joy. Yeah. So, so yeah,
My
house is good. Grass is good. It's fun hearing the updates about the grass. Last week, I was going to say the same thing about you could call it a habitat restoration um,
Sanctuary.
sanctuary. Yeah,
my backyard last week.
that's exactly what my ex-wife Gail did. She had signs
Yeah.
that she put up, and it was actually for that reason. It wasn't because of not being
Oh.
able
She
to
was
get to it or something like that. But yeah, just a sign. It's amazing how much a sign can change things.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
labeling.
Like this is intentional. Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear more about that.
Oh yeah, we should have Gail on the podcast, Kate. We should. We
That'd be
really
good.
should.
Yeah.
She's I used to call her actually I think she's still in my phone as Gail Force Wins.
Yes. Gail Portsman, and she's an
It
engineer.
sounds like
So
a force to be reckoned with.
her brain
Yes.
totally thinks of like engineering everything and anything, whether it's like something about your teeth or the drippy faucet or the car or the river that keeps flooding in the backyard or what Ellicott City should do with their
Also,
roads to slow stuff down, right? And it's like, I don't know, when you meet an engineer because a problem to them, they just see it in terms of like its components and from a very basic thing, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this is a
Your
problem.
brains work differently than mine.
Right.
I find it fascinating.
People would come over the house and spill a drink and then say, where's the paper towels? And she'd say, there are no paper towels in this house. Grab a towel, right? Because she cares about the environment, so she doesn't use paper towels, plastic, that stuff. So they would go and grab a towel, a dry towel from the counter, and go and rub it through like the red wine or whatever, and then go to like, where do I put this now? And she'd be like, well, now you can put it in the trash because you just ruined it, right? She used to say, the towel is just the vehicle. Right, that was the engineering term she had. You have to get it wet. You have to get the sponge or the towel wet first because the water is actually the cleansing agent. The towel is just the vehicle, right?
Oh my gosh.
And then there was an extra thing there about the fact that people, grown adults, didn't know how to do this stuff because they've grown up in a disposable world where you just grab paper towels or whatever it is, bleach wipes, and get your million Amazon boxes and you chuck them in the ocean and move on with your day. So,
Wow.
So yeah, that'd be a interesting one.
She sounds like an interesting person to know.
Yeah, you would love her, Kate. Guess where she lives? She
Where?
lives on Main Street, Ellicott City.
No.
Yes, at the top of the hill in a building called the Ice House, which is a historic name because that's what the building used to be, where they
That's
kept the
so
ice.
cool.
The residential area at the top of the hill, yeah, it's called the West End, and the living room was built in 1810, and it's all stone. All four walls are built in stone. They bring the ice up from the river and chuck it in there, and that was the ice for all the restaurants down on Main Street. And then in the 1880s, a guy bought it and built a L-shaped stick frame around that square, making it a larger square, and made it into a residence. And then that guy sold it to a family whose granddaughter she bought it from, I believe. And it was a cool house. She was rehabbing it in two ways. One, to make it like historically accurate, like, for the historic district of Ellicott City, but also modern in ways that are like better for the environment and people, right? So getting rid of all the asbestos and all that crap. She wanted to do radiant floor heating on the footprint of the building.
Nice.
Solar panels on the roof, right? How on-demand water heaters, all these really efficient things. But when you look at it, it would be like all of that kind of like, I don't know, like jewelry on some beautiful historic ice house building.
Right.
So, and when you would walk through it, there were always buildings in different stages of disrepair. If she had a hard day at work, her thing would be to come home and grab a sledgehammer, or a hammer and start banging the plaster. Because the living room that was all stone, it was covered in plaster at one point, and she wanted to get that off and reveal the stone, the beautiful stonework behind it. So bang the plaster off on a portion of wall for a few hours, and then you go on with your way and you'd leave it. And so you'd walk through the house and you'd see stone, you'd see wood, paneling, wood paneling, drywall. We even had the fake brick in the kitchen. Like it had all it was like walking through a museum of American building, basically.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, and Carrie, I'm sorry, Carrie was friends with her. Maybe bleep Carrie's last name out of that, Frank. We need to edit for us. Thank goodness for Frank, because I need
you didn't
so
watch
much.
you didn't get to the second episode of Rutherford Falls last night, huh?
No, I didn't. I just watched the first one. I was going to watch the second one, but Emmett had to go to bed and he asked me not to watch it without him.
That's fine. In the second
Yeah.
one, there's a bit of podcasting humor that comes along in first season, which is pretty funny. You should check it out if not for that
Okay.
reason. In the second episode, Nathan goes on a podcast to try to like fight for getting the statue saved in town, and the guy who runs the podcast turns out to be this really ultra conservative nutcase guy. So he's interviewing Nathan about, tell me about all the great things your family or the Rutherfords did for this area and all the things they're famous for. And they talk about like when Roosevelt visited and they invented s'mores and all these things that are just like little things, but Nathan's very proud of them. And then the guy says, yes, and of course, the first white baby born in Cobb County. And he's like, well, yeah, but I mean, that's not really something we're proud of. He's like, well, but did your family not introduce whiteness to the region, right? And he starts like, pushing this whole thing about how great the family is because of their whiteness coming in there. And he does his best to like sidestep that stuff because he's just proud of his family and stuff. And this guy's a nut. And then afterwards, he's arguing with the guy to get that part cut out. He says, you have to edit it. You have to get that cut out. And the guy says something like, there is no editing. This is podcasting. Like that's the definition of podcasting. No, he says the definition of podcasting, it's as is. Slap some stolen music on it and throw it on the internet.
Oh.
So I was like, all right, taking notes. No more editing. Get some stolen music. But yeah, no.
So that was your master class in how to engineer our podcast for us.
Yeah, 20-second thing on Rutherford Falls. So
Really?
yeah.
So whenever we're together, we absolutely could talk forever, and I have about 20 more bullet points that I'd like to say about Gail, and I'm sure you do too. And but since we only have like 10 minutes left officially, I can go till 11:25 today. I don't know about Kate, but I can go till 11:25. I want to stop distracting you and let you get to answering the main question of the podcast.
Okay. Then I will definitely have to focus because I have all kinds of things, other notes about other stuff like square pegs and round holes, which that's exactly how they saved Apollo 13.
Oh my gosh.
With duct tape. I don't know if you've seen
Yes.
that. So it is doable. So yeah, keep that up. But I don't know. Yeah, I was thinking about the do you have your shit together last night, and I was thinking about what the messages were growing up, and it was really hard for me to come up with any. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's not like direct necessarily. It's teaching by example a lot of times, and unspoken messages. And I don't know if I was paying attention or if they weren't being provided or something, but like I don't have too many memories from childhood as is. I don't have very many memories of Dad. My memories, like when I did sit down and try to think like, okay, what comes to mind when you think of childhood? I thought of like I don't know, like Legos, Gargoyles, Batman, the animated series.
Gargoyles.
Yeah, exactly. National Geographics, my collages. In middle school, that was like my most social time. Me and the 4 other kids, white boys in the neighborhood. We had a group called the Partners in Crime, the PIC, and we thought we were really cool because we went around and stole like stuff from Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
We stole the pink and like purple, whatever color they are, flags off the roof, and they were doing the Star Wars thing in the 90s, and they said they had the big sticky like things of Chewbacca on the Taco Bell like doors, and we'd pull those off. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, there was an abandoned garage in the Cromartie Alley, and we broke in and spray painted the windows, and that's where we put all our like trophies. We did some pretty things that were harmless, but we also did a lot of things that I think back now, if a kid was going around town in this neighborhood doing that kind of stuff, I might actually like stop him. We would go around at the holidays at night when everybody's outdoor Christmas lights were on, and you know how if you just take one bulb out, the whole strand goes out? We'd go around and take a single bulb out of all the strands in the neighborhood. And that's so annoying because if you think about it, they have to go and search now to find where that one bulb is missing, right? So it's not an easy fix.
Well, technology has made it so you can lose one bulb and the whole strand doesn't always go out. Sometimes half the strand goes out, sometimes everything but that bulb stays lit. So rest assured, my brother, you probably advanced Christmas light technology with your nefarious deeds.
All right, it was meant to be.
And I would assert that you were not the PICs, you were the PIPCs. You were the partners in petty crimes.
Petty crimes, petty crimes.
And you were the Pipsies.
The Pipsies, yeah. Well, we thought we were pretty badass at the time, running
For
from
your age,
adults and
that
stuff.
was some serious badassery.
We set up a fort behind. There was a family from Lamb of God that lived at the bottom of Cromartie in a big house, and
Burks.
the Burks, yeah, and
Yes.
there was like a wooded area behind that was like
Which
100,
Me and my
100
siblings
acres.
set up a fort back there too.
Yeah,
That's where Kate and I would like cut through to get to each other's houses. That's the shortcut we were talking about in the first or second episode.
okay.
Yeah.
I'd go back there and set little fires and stuff all the time.
Yeah. They had those like spindle tables you'd use and stuff. And yeah, Mr. Burke came out one time and we ran and he yelled. he was like, "Don't run, I'm not going to yell." And we all like, laughed about that because we thought that was so funny. And now when my neighbor like 2 days ago tells me she saw my son in like one of the abandoned buildings on Main Street, and then when she tried to talk to him and his friends, they ran away, and she doesn't get why and all this stuff, and like she was just trying to tell them that it was dangerous in there because it's an old building. And I was like, "You weren't a child ever, huh?" And she's like, "No, I was a child. I was a different kind of child." I was like, "You must have been a different kind of child because when I was like that age growing up, even if there was," she's like, "We're trying to open a community center for the kids." I was like, "Even if there had been a community center, we wouldn't have wanted to go there because that was the place where we were supposed to go."
Right.
Right. Like we want to go to the place we're not supposed to be. And I said, by you telling them it's dangerous in there, that's only going to make them want to be there more. And,
Absolutely.
and I said, and she's like, "I don't get why they ran." I was like, they ran because like when you're little, that's the kind of drama you like feed on. Like the adults are the bad guys. They're the villains. And like when they come, you run and you get around the corner, you're like, "Whew, wow, that was really close. Like we made it, like and that's like big deal stuff.
Thrill of a lifetime.
Because you're mad and confused about becoming an adult from a child in that weird transition, I guess. So yeah. So that was weird stuff. I don't know. I think.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
And you might be afraid to put this on the record, so you can just plead the fifth if you want, because I know Mom has subscribed to the podcast. I don't think Dad knows the podcast exists, but the disclaimer that Kate and I made in episode 2 of Now That We Are Parents, we completely understand our parents so much better and we see them with passion and love and gratitude. So anything we say on here that seems like a criticism, we're probably just making a joke, and deep down inside, we know they did the best they could and we love them for it. So that disclaimer aside, do you think Mom and Dad had their shit together?
I don't know. I wouldn't be able to say yes, so that's probably a no.
Yeah. So that, I mean, that alone shaped your idea of what it meant to have your shit together. If you grow up thinking my parents don't have their shit together, then the opposite of what your parents are doing would be your definition of having your shit together, right?
I mean, I can tell you what I didn't have going on. Like, I didn't look up and see like adults who had college degrees and therefore I think I should probably go to college, or had like careers and therefore me thinking I should get a career. You know what I mean? Like I was 8 when they got divorced, so there was already like separate houses and stuff. A divorce is I think pretty obvious sign of failure to any kid's subconscious, right? Parents are splitting up. So there was a time where Dad didn't talk for a week. I don't know if you remember that, but like I remember it specifically because it was a voting like week for some reason. It was voting Congress or something, and we went to Westtown Elementary where they had the voting booths, and he actually had like a little notepad he pulled out of his pocket to write down whatever it was he normally would have said to the lady.
Oh my God, this is a buried memory.
I don't know if it was like he gave up speaking for Lent or something, or it was, I have weird ideas in my head about it, but I do remember thinking like, that's weird. My dad has decided like he's going to voluntarily not speak for like a certain amount of days. And then it's things like that that I see in different contexts now that I understand different traits that I have and potentially got from my father. And like, maybe it makes more sense with if he has those types of traits for some of those behaviors to be there. And then also when I look at Mom and I see that she was the oldest of 7 kids in a family of 9 Portuguese crazy people and who her parents were and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So yes, I definitely have sympathy and compassion. I do think that it's like Watt says, it starts now, right? He says like, we can keep playing that game like, it's not my fault I'm neurotic because my mother dropped me on her head, and it's not her fault because her mother dropped her on her head, and away we go back to Adam and Eve or some disappearing monkey, he says, right? He says like, it starts now. Like I can, it's like the meme where there's 2 guys on a bench, one's wearing a suit with a briefcase, the other guy's like a homeless guy, and it says like, when asked the homeless guy why his life was the way it was, he said, because my father was an alcoholic. And when the businessman was asked why is his life the way it is, he says, because my father was an alcoholic. Right. So, And because it's not just about how the parents are. If it was just about how the parents are, then all the siblings would be exactly the same, you know.
Right.
But we as
Right.
individuals take similar environments and react to them in different ways. So it's a combination of environment, but also I guess temperament, right? So
Yeah. Well, also, I would say that we didn't have the same environment because when mom and dad got divorced, when dad moved out, I was 17.
right.
And I simply stopped speaking to dad for a year until I was 18. And then very soon after at 19 got knocked up and moved in with Mike at 20. So I pretty much was done living in that house and interacting with dad at least when he moved out. And you were 8. You still very much needed your parents, and whether you wanted them or not, they were in charge of you. I had the option to disengage with that
Right.
dynamic of parenting and just pull away from it and say, no, I refuse to interact with these parents who are divorced. I mean, I still interacted with mom, but I mean, I had the option to say, I'm done with these people, I'm walking away, and you did not.
Right. On the weekends, dad was coming and me and Manny were in the car and we went to dad's for the weekend and we were there and then we came home until I was, I don't know, like maybe 14 or something. And then it was like I started to have a say in it. But
And
yeah,
not just
it was still,
not just that, but when I think of my childhood, I think of married parents who were married the entire time and a stay-at-home mom. And you probably think of a single mom, weekend visitations with a dad, and a mom who was at work a lot.
yeah, there weren't adults around when I was a kid. I don't want to sound like, oh, I'm some abandoned child, like, you know, a child soldier in West Africa or something. I had a very
Right. Yeah, no, I just mean
privileged childhood, but yes, so there weren't. I would come home from school, and that's how the PIC evolved because none of us had any parents around after school, so we would all hang out
which
together, and that was fine. That was what it was. But yes, there wasn't as much interaction, and it was like I was supposed to be in this house on the weekend. Even when I went over there wasn't that much interaction. And then I'd come back to the main house, and every now and then there'd be a lady who would like rush in, and she'd have a car full of groceries, and we'd have to put them all in. And then she'd say, "Don't eat them all in 2 days. I spent $300 on that." Then we'd eat them in 2 days, and she'd be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you boys ate that food in 2 days. I spent $300 on that." And like, you know, there would be maybe some newspaper articles around a dinner table. That was the cool thing about mom was usually very good about making sure we had family dinners, and there was usually a
yes.
dinner reading, um, and so things like that. And then mom took at least me and maybe Manny and John. Like I have memories of her taking us to like Downs Memorial, right? She'd take us to like parks or something on the weekend. She had creative ways of getting the boys out of the house without spending a lot of money. You know,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
I'll say it's convent, but Patapsco State Park, whatever it was, we go somewhere and do something like that.
Love
But it's like,
Oh yeah,
I go there so often.
yeah. I have absolutely great memories of mom and dad. I just mean that we sort of grew up in 2 different families. When I think about the families we grew up in, I think I'm sort of unfair in the way that I think about our youngest brother and the way he is now. But I have to remind myself, he did not grow up in the family I grew up in. He had different parents than I had. Of course, he's going to be a different person than I am. He was 4 when the shit went down, right?
right.
So
Like,
he doesn't
Auntie
remember a
Linda,
time that his
Mom,
parents were married.
yeah.
Right.
If you
Yeah.
think of mom and Auntie Linda, there's like 20-year difference in there or something. Yeah. So
Right.
there's a wide variety between having like a new parent and having
Right.
a parent of 3 kids before you and all different things like that. Like, did
Like-
you get confirmed?
Yes, I got confirmed. I had mom all to myself for 4 whole years. I had
Oh, I'm sorry.
oh, okay. Bye, Kate.
See you,
Bye.
Get
Kate.
your shit together.
Get together.
I had you know, tea parties on the front porch and, you know, books read to me every night, and Manny had like daycare and lots of money for anything he wanted, but you know, not books every night and mom all to himself. So yeah,
Right.
it was very different.
I think I had some kind of blend in between there. I didn't get confirmed. When it was time for confirmation, I went to the classes and then I said, I don't want to get confirmed. I don't believe it. I think the whole point of this is that you don't have a choice when you're a baby. And so the whole point of this is now that you're confirming that you as an individual say, I want to take the Lord into my heart and soul or whatever it is. And I don't believe it. And I know that will not make you happy, mother, but to just do it for you would be to defeat the purpose of this
Right.
specific thing, right? So that was like, I think I don't know, I feel like around that time I had already started to like stop looking there for what means having your shit together.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and other places that I think you're typically supposed to look at for where it is to have your shit together. Because basically, I went from like the childhood cartoons, being by myself age, to PIC in middle school. And then, like, in high school, I was back to isolating. I made my mind up I wasn't going to do the religion thing. I dropped out sophomore year. You know what I mean? I read Into the Wild in sophomore year, and in that book is all about a guy who decides everybody's message of having your shit together is bullshit. So much so that I'm gonna leave their entire game and go play my own. Right?
Okay, so I'm going to stop you right there because I think that this interview needs to be a two-parter.
Okay.
Because I want to hear so much more about this, and we're getting to the good stuff now, and I don't want you to feel like you have to rush the second half of your answer into a short amount of time. So can you come back again next Friday?
Absolutely. To be continued.
All right. Great. Well, thank you so much for jumping in this week with no notice. And until next week, keep your shit together.
Keep your shit together.